Monday, June 29, 2020, the Office of the President directed the Auditor General to take his 123 days of accumulated leave from July 1, 2020, pursuant to Section 21 of the Labour Act. When Mr. Domelevo wrote back to the President to notify him that the decision to ask him to go on leave was not within the remit of the President, a second letter came from the Office of the President to further extend his leave to 169 days. 9 civil society organizations then proceeded to the Supreme Court to seek interpretation of the law allowing President Akufo-Addo to issue such a directive. 2 years down the line, the Supreme Court says the President had no such powers, declaring his act as null, void, and of no effect. The co-chair of one of the CSOs, Citizens Movement Against Corruption, Edem Senanu, says the ruling by the Supreme Court is a clear indication that the executive arm of government cannot interfere in the affairs of independent state institutions like the Audit Service.
The manner the whole thing went, it just did not fit well with our legal framework. And so we are delighted, absolutely delighted, that due process has been followed and the highest court of the land has spoken out on this matter conclusively. The beauty of it is that it sends a message to the executive branch of government that one needs to be cautious when there are independent institutions of state set up as a counterbalance and you begin to, as it were, influence their decisions or their processes. That does not augur well for our democracy. So it's a win for Ghana in terms of the separation of powers and the balance of powers in order to make sure that this country can run well.
He says the move by President Akufo-Addo affected the surcharging functions of the Auditor General in fighting corruption.
The whole idea of surcharges, disallowances and surcharges stopped as soon as he moved out of office. As for the quality of the work done, I mean, the other reports that the Auditor General's department have done that we would still say were world-class documents. I mean, if you look at the COVID-19 assessment, I mean, it still highlighted the gaps that we ought to address. But the one major area where we thought that was an important part of holding the executive to book regarding disallowances and surcharges, it stopped once he had left office.